The chandelier sparkled above them like a captive galaxy. The grand hall of the Graves estate, lined with gold trim and cold polished marble, was silent. Too silent. Everyone in the house was waiting. At the center of it all stood Richard Graves, a man used to being in complete and utter control. Beside him, his 6-year-old son Oliver, a small blonde-haired boy in a miniature, a very uncomfortable-looking tuxedo, was clenching his tiny fists at his sides. To Richard's left and right stood 2 women. Both were white. Both were stunningly beautiful. One, with sleek, platinum blonde hair, was poured into a satin blood-red gown. The other, with soft auburn curls and sharp aristocratic cheekbones, was draped in a dress of a deep crimson silk. They were models, poised and perfect, hands selected by Richard's own, very discreet, personal assistant. Richard looked down at his small, silent son. "It's time, Oliver," he said, his voice a quiet but very firm command. "Your nanny is leaving? Next week, you need a new mother. One of these lovely ladies will be your new stepmom." The little boy didn't move. "Choose," Richard said again. But the choice he was about to make was one that no one, not the models, not the staff, and certainly not his powerful and very controlling father, could have ever possibly imagined. Before we begin this incredible story of love, of family, and of the powerful and often unseen bonds that truly matter, please, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, Kindness Corner, and share this story with someone who needs a reminder that a family is built not on wealth or on status, but on love. She wasn't even supposed to be there. She had only come into the grand hall too quickly and silently, wipe a small smudge from the large gilded mirror when she had heard the voices. And now she stood frozen, her own eyes wide, with a mixture of a profound and very real shock and a deep and very professional horror. Oliver looked at her. Then he looked at the 2 perfect, smiling women. And then he looked back up at his powerful and very expectant father. Richard frowned. "Excuse me?" Oliver took one, single and very brave, step forward, past the red dresses, past the perfect, practiced smiles. The models blinked. A flicker of a genuine and very real confusion in their perfect blue eyes. One of them, the blonde, even scoffed a small, ugly, and very condescending sound. Richard's own face went slack, as if he hadn't heard his own son correctly. The words dropped into the silent, cavernous hall like a clap of thunder. Grace's own eyes widened in a new and very real horror. "Oliver, sweetheart, no," she whispered, a reflexive and very protective denial. But the little boy just nodded, his own voice now louder, stronger, and full of a love so pure it was almost a physical thing. The woman, for the first time, fell silent. Grace held Oliver tightly, her own eyes blinking fast against the hot, sudden sting of tears. Her arms, the same arms that had so often and so quietly, in the unseen moments of his young life, wrapped around him, when he was sad, when he was sick, when he was lonely, now held him with a new and very public tenderness. But now, everyone was watching. The 2 beautiful, red-dressed women looked at each other awkwardly, her own confident, poised postures beginning to falter. I wasn't told this was going to be a performance," the blonde one muttered, taking a small, almost imperceptible step back. The other one just scoffed under her breath and crossed her arms, her own beautiful face a mask of a new and very ugly resentment. Richard Graves still hadn't moved. He just stood there, his shoulders stiff, his lips slightly parted, as he stared at the impossible and very beautiful scene that was unfolding before him. His own son, the small and often very lonely heir to the vast Graves fortune, clinging to the maid. Clinging to her as if she were oxygen, as if he would suffocate without her. Richard walked slowly, almost hesitantly toward them.
"Almost, son,"
he said, his own voice now gentle. "I am not mad. I am ashamed." The word, the confession, felt foreign and very heavy on his own tongue. But it also felt right. He crouched down beside them, his expensive, tailored suit jacket creasing. As he did so, "I asked you to choose a mother," he said, his voice now a low and very quiet sound. "But what I really meant, what I was really asking, was for you to choose someone who would fit into my life, into my image, into my world." Oliver blinked, his young mind trying to process his father's strange and very adult words. "But you," Richard continued, anew and very profound, respect in his eyes as he looked from his son to the quiet, dignified woman who was holding him. "You chose someone who fits into your life, into your heart. And that," he finished, his voice now a quiet and very beautiful admission of his own profound failure, "is the only choice that ever truly mattered." Grace loosened her own grip on the small, precious boy in her arms, her own mind a chaotic and very uncertain whirlwind. I don't know what to say," she whispered. Richard nodded, a fresh wave of a hot and very real shame washing over him as the tears he had held back for so long now threatened to overwhelm his carefully constructed composure. "I deserve that," he whispered. He then turned to Grace. "You have done more for my son," he said, "than anyone else in his entire and very lonely life. And you have never, not once, asked for any recognition or any credit or any extra compensation for it." The words, so simple and so profound, hit him with the force of a physical blow. Richard looked away for a long, silent second, then he exhaled. "Then let me," he said finally, "and for the first time, do this right." He stood up, and in a gesture that was as unexpected as it was profound, he extended his hand. "Grace," he said, "will you please stay? Not as a maid, not as a member of the staff, but as a real part of this family. Someone with a voice, with a role, with a title that is worthy of what you have already and so beautifully been." Grace's eyes widened. "You mean ... like ... as his mother?" she asked, the words a disbelieving whisper. Tears, hot and silent, finally slipped down her cheek. "I need time," she said honestly. Later that evening, the great old house was quiet again, but it was not the same heavy, oppressive silence from before. This silence carried something new, a warmth, a hope, a quiet and very beautiful change. Richard walked past the open doorway of Oliver's room, and he paused. Inside, Grace was sitting on the floor, reading aloud from Oliver's favorite book. The little boy was tucked safely under his blanket, his eyes heavy with a peaceful, happy sleep, his small hand clutching hers. Richard stood there for a long, long time, a silent, unseen observer. And for the very first time in years, he didn't feel like a man who was living in a cold, empty mansion. He felt like a father, finally and truly coming home. In the end, Grace did say yes, not with a big, dramatic declaration, but with a quiet, simple, and very beautiful gesture. One sunny, hopeful afternoon, as the three of them were walking together in the garden, Oliver, who had been holding both of their hands in a moment of a pure and very beautiful, childish innocence, brought their two hands together. And this time, neither of them let go. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more emotional, dramatic, and unexpected tales from my truth story. And let us know in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? We love hearing from all of you. Till next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep watching.